The market gets taken to the woodshed and we're all over it. Are the bulls down and out? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay guys, so in last week's video we talked about the fact that as long as the bulls were above the blue boxes, they could hold support and take it higher in a wave 5 of an ending diagonal. However, I also warned that wave 4 on the ES was getting too big, and that if you were bullish, the NASDAQ was a problem. I have been warning that the NASDAQ may have topped for a while now based on its structure. And on Monday, we saw the market try to gap up and get absolutely smoked to the downside, breaking through support and closing at the lows. So now the question is, are the bulls down and out? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, so the market did get smoked to the downside, and we were all over it, as you can see on the screen. We entered for $1.15 today. We took our first cash at $1.45. We always protect our position and our risk. And then the next part of our trade came out at $5.15, a $4 win on that trade, that part of that trade, and we ended up closing out for almost a 290% gain. So an incredible day in the room. Everyone who took advantage of our sale last week killed it. You can see on the screen all of the people who are in our room love being in there. They love the community. They become winning and successful traders. These testimonials were on the screen last week in my video, and I kept them on here because I think it's really important to hear from the people in the room and understand what they have to say about our trading experience, because I can tell you all day that it's going to be great, but I'm the one running the room, so of course I want you to think that because I'm trying to get you to come in and check it out. But these are people who have come in, checked it out, and have been super successful, and it's not just one. We have almost 600 people in the room. It's an incredible trading community. We'd love to have you in there so you can come in and make some money with us. If you'd like to do that, stay tuned for later in the video. For now, let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1 hour futures chart for the S&P 500. And I warned that once this diagonal broke, you would see aggressive selling, and that's what we've been seeing for a while now. Basically since the start of April, where we got straight down selling here and a bounce, straight down selling here with a bounce, straight down new lows here with a bounce, straight down new lows here with a bounce, straight down new lows through support. And now that we're through support, okay, you would expect the selling to accelerate because we are coming out of a diagonal. That's what I've warned about and talked about for a while now. And based on the pattern, it's a little bit sloppy, but what we look at here is the potential for us to be in the C wave of the initial move down, where you have A and B and then 1 and 2 of C, and we're in 3 of C to the downside now. Now we're through the 1.0, which would be the traditional target for an AB setup where C would come into the 1.0. I do think that based on waves 1 and 2 of C, we're going to look well past that. And you do see a lot of accelerated selling that extends these waves in diagonals once diagonals complete, I should say. So we're getting momentum and strength to the downside. We would expect that to continue if the diagonal is truly broken. Now, it doesn't mean they can't give us a little bit of a bounce, guys. I'm not saying we can't, come up and back test this low or something like that. We can definitely bounce a little bit. You shouldn't be seeing something like this is what I'm saying. You should be seeing pretty much continuation of this move. And overall, this move has a target of around 5,000 for the initial move off the top. Now, if this is truly a diagonal breaking, and if it's truly a diagonal off of the lows from October, which I kind of think it is, that's how we've been tracking it, and that's how it's kind of been filling out, then I would not necessarily expect a big bounce off of this 5,000 region. It does come into good support there at 5,000. You have this low here from the 13th, which I believe is the February CPI low. You come into that low, there is decent support there, so you could see a little bit of a bounce off of that. But I wouldn't necessarily expect something back up into this area. Doesn't mean they can't do that. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just not the normal thing that happens when a diagonal breaks down. You just don't get big bounces. You get strong selling that just accelerates and continues. So we would look for them to continue, the 5,000 area being the next overall target here, and then we'll see what kind of bounce we get from there. Now, if we're going to be in an intermediate top, okay, so we can be in two different settings here. The breaking of the blue box tells us we should have at least an intermediate top in place, meaning we can see a bigger pullback but still come back and get one more high later. Or if they break that support, which I kind of think they will based on overall structure and how kind of things are laid out here with the counts and how full we are to the upside, a more major top where we'd be looking for several years of bearish behavior. So As they come down, it is entirely possible that this diagonal, there's a couple things that are possible, right? So the first one is that this diagonal that just ended is 5 of 3, and then you come down here to this 5,000 area for wave 4, and then you get wave 5 back up. Right, that is a possibility. I don't think that's going to be the case based on, like I said, count, structure, targets, fibs, everything else. I just don't think that's what we're looking at. But it is a possibility to keep in the back of your mind. Should we see a strong reversal off of that 5,000 region, we would be looking for something like this to the upside where they could come back and hit the 55 to 5,800 area for a bigger top. The second place we would look for support is about 4,800, where it's entirely possible this whole diagonal started back here off of this low. It is not a very clean structure to the upside from here. So it is entirely possible that we could come all the way back here for the diagonal, where this is 5 of 3 from back here. This is 4, and then we come back up from the 4,800 area. So 4,800 is where we really look for a next major support zone. If they can't hold the 4,800 area, then if you look at the chart, there's not a lot to catch us down here. It's pretty much a free fall, and we're coming off a diagonal build from the from back in the October lows. So I do expect rapid selling if 4,800 doesn't hold. And quite frankly, I expect rapid selling to at least the 5,000 area, if not beyond. So now that we've broken support, you would look for selling to continue and to accelerate if we are truly breaking down in a diagonal. If not, if selling is not accelerating, then it does give us the opportunity to stop at one of these upper supports and make a high. But again, I think that is much less likely given the structure and the overall look of the market and the NASDAQ. So our current primary count would be looking for a bigger breakdown below the 4,800 area. Over on the NASDAQ. Okay, on the NASDAQ 1 hour chart, the one thing that would give the bulls a little bit of hope is that I just don't love this top on the NASDAQ. It's basically a double top. Generally, you don't have tops like that. And so it is a little bit concerning if you're a bear that this double top still exists. I really thought they'd come back and take it out, to be quite honest with you, and then come back down. And since they didn't do that, it's not like they can't have a double top. It's not like it can't happen. You just generally don't see that. So that would be the one concern. If I was a bear, that they really didn't set a high here. They kind of double topped it, and that's kind of a little bit different than you would see in a normal topping instance. Now, they have a much cleaner downside pattern. It's a very clean, in my opinion, A, okay, and then A, B, C for B, and then 1 of C, 2 of C, and then to the downside. And so they're through the 1, 2, 3, 6 now. They're coming into the 1, 3, 8, 2 here at 17, 8, 17. And then through that, they can continue to extend. And the same thing on the NASDAQ, where we would expect acceleration here, with the next target being this 16,630 area. That would be our next support zone. That is not, in my opinion, going to be major support. I do think they will come down and test a little bit lower down here at the 17,500 area. So I think they'll break this low. The target for the C wave is the 17,579 area, which is exactly right over here in this wave 4 low. And so this is the key area for the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's going to want to come down and look at this chart here. Look at this support, I should say, for this wave 4 as a potential, okay, just like on the ES, where this ending diagonal can be 5 of 3. Then you'd come down in a wave 4 that matches this low at around 17,580. Then you'd look for the last push up toward that 18,850 to 19,000 area to complete on the NASDAQ. So as long as they stay above this low, that is a pretty strong area for them to hold. Just below that, you have another heavy level of support right around the 17,300 to 17,400 area. So right in this area, we would expect them to hold support. If they break down below that, their last stop is the 16,600 area, and below that is free fall. So NASDAQ does have a couple opportunities for the bulls. They're not dead yet. Again, based on overall structure, overall targets hit, all the things that we've seen. The only negative on the NASDAQ to me is the topping pattern as a double top, but they are through support. It is a major warning to the bulls, and we would look for them to continue selling at least down into this 17,500 or 550 area, this wave 4 low, down into this top of this area here in the 17,270 area. This is a support zone. I would be watching heavily for the NASDAQ to react. And assuming they can give us a strong reaction that takes back certain levels, we'll have to figure those out once we get down here. But if they can take back some certain levels to the upside, the bulls can get back into this market and take us higher. That would be considered an intermediate top, which we've been talking about. And through that, we would have a much more bearish outcome for many years to come. So this area is of major importance to the bulls to hold, and then not just hold, rally out of pretty strongly to indicate they're going to try to take it back up to the highs. So again, on the NASDAQ, they have put in a warning here to tell us we at least have this intermediate top in place. We'd look for this area down here to hold if you're bullish and then come back up to the highs. If you are bearish, you want to see this area break to the downside. I think you're going to get a bounce here no matter what, and then depending on the nature of this bounce, we'll see exactly what we get. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to the webpage. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have several incredible plans. We have 2 monthly plans that both come with a 7-day free trial. Because I want you to get in there, make sure you love it, become part of the trading community, interact with PT and I, and make sure it's for you before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our educational material. We have our advanced Elliott Wave course and our Elliott Wave 4 beginners course. In our advanced course, we go over all the complex things you see in the market, whether it be diagonals, double and triple threes, triangles, all those kinds of things, flats, anything you can come across that makes it really overlapping and really hard to understand exactly where we're at in the market. This course covers those things. We start off on a blank sheet of paper where we go through everything, all of the levels, what we're looking for. As we go through, we add the fibs so you can understand what the fib targets are and know where those come in and how they react and how they interact and what you're looking for. And then once you get all that, we get into the charts and we start looking at real-time examples of these things. I break down everything in bite-sized videos that hopefully are very easy to understand so that you can understand these complex patterns. As you can see on the screen, our members are absolutely loving the advanced course. It's helping them trade these complex patterns and understand these very tough markets. But if it's a little bit advanced for you or you're just getting started in Elliott Wave, you can get our Elliott Wave 4 Beginners online course. This course is helping real traders make real money and finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. It can be very confusing when good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up. And Elliott knew that the news cycles a long time ago didn't mean anything. Key levels do, and he understood what happened when key levels break and when key levels held. This gave him a huge advantage over the rest of the market, and now you can have that advantage too. This course is 25 videos where I go through the introduction, your Elliott Wave expectations, your mindset and emotion, the KISS method and why it works, your chart setup and tools, every tool you need to use with Elliott Wave Theory, along with how to use it and why we use it, and the Elliott Wave 4 beginners area where I go through each of the waves, how they work, how to find their targets, how to measure them, how to understand when they're failing, what they look like, the corrective depth theory, the pivot, everything you need to know to understand the market in a way that makes sense. The really cool thing about both courses, the advanced and the regular, is they are included in both of our monthly rooms, so simply becoming a monthly member allows you free access to these courses. Now, if you don't want to become a monthly member and you want both courses, we also have our Elliott Wave bundle where you get a discount for buying both courses at once. In our first online room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the training material you just saw. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing and day trade, so we do trade quite often in my room. Now, if you're looking for futures trading, individual stocks, income trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method, you need to check out PT's throne room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as futures trading, individual stocks, his income trading that is just killing the market, and his reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you huge multiples on your money, and it's how he structures that trade that's so unique. Something you really have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account trading mini ES futures, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we'd love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, the key takeaways for today. We are below the blue boxes that puts the bears in control of the market. We are looking for the selling to continue to the downside. We would look for the 5,000 level as our next target into this support area over here. Assuming the bears or the bulls can hold that area, they can react strongly and take it back up. We would look for them to have a chance at all-time highs. However, given the overall structure of the market and the bears pushing through this support in the way that they did, I do give the edge to the bears continuing this push and breaking down below 4,800, which would give us a strong indication that a major market top is in. Over on the NASDAQ, we are looking for continued selling. The next level down would be this 17,550 area. If they can hold this support in this box here, basically, the bulls do have a chance to take it higher. However, given the counts and the overall structure of the market, I would look for them to continue lower and to show us that a top has been put in place. Guys, that is your market update for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.